Yeah, I said to somebody else, I think, I've always been a guy that I'm a relationship and respect is earned, and I think last year was something I was cognizant of the fact of being a first-year college coach to not come in and demand respect too early, but to earn it with my guys and build that trust so that when I challenged them, they knew where I was coming from. And I did that, but I think now, even though they've got some new guys in there, Bryce has been with me for a year, I feel like I've established myself more at this level to where now it's like, hey, we are going to set the standard high, and then we're going to show up every day to raise the bar and raise the bar and raise the bar. And if you come out and you have a day where you don't put the effort forward to meet the standard or raise it, then I've got to call you out and I've got to challenge you. And I think that's something that I'm excited for this year, is like being in a position where I feel like the guys know who I am and where I'm coming from. It's not my first rodeo anymore, and I think I've built a reputation in the room, and they can turn to the guys that are here and they go, no, Mohns is a good dude, and he's a good coach, and he's got your back, and if he calls you out, he's doing it because he sees something. And so I'm excited to just be able to come out and just challenge my guys and push them and make them better.
Absolutely. Thank you, Coach.
Yep.
Thank you, Coach.
How's it going?
Good. So how do you feel about, or just your thoughts generally about your freshman tight end, Jaden Mohns here?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we're fired up about him. He's a big-time dynamic football player, and I say football player, not just tight end, because he was an all-state first-team kid on both sides of the ball and impacted the game. Was able to see him play, and he was all over the place at the football, making plays on the ball on offense and defense. So we're fired up about him. He's a big-time talent. I think he's going to bring a different element to the tight end room than what we have right now. I think he makes that room as diverse as our room is right now from a talent perspective and a skill set perspective. I think he even brings a different element to the table. So we're fired up to get him here. He's a Sun Devil. He wanted to be a Sun Devil from the first day I met him. Through having a great senior year and getting a bunch of attention and offers and teams that tried to steal him from us late, he never wavered on wanting to be a Sun Devil. And so those are the guys you want here. That guys that want to be here, that value this, that believe in this, they make everybody around them better. And so we're excited to get him here and get him a part of the group.
What are your thoughts on the ways he will have to step up, along with maybe some transfer guy like Marquise Douglas, after the departures of both Conyers and ASU TE?
Yeah, I mean, starting off with Marquise, we brought Marquise in to be a guy for us, coming from Florida State, where he played significant reps for them. I mean, he wasn't a backup. I mean, he was a big-time player for them, and playing big boy football, playing elite competition, competing for a college football playoff spot. He knows what it looks like at the highest level, so we're fired up about him. I think he's a tremendous compliment to Bryce and vice versa. I think Bryce is a tremendous compliment to him. He's a giant human that can bend and run and move in a freakish manner for his size. So I think he has the chance to be an elite player in this conference for us. Cameron Harpole, who we brought in from San Diego State, I think is again a perfect complement to those two guys and the role that he's going to play and the things that he can do. I talked about Ryan Morgan was one of my favorite guys last year because Ryan he could do everything. He did everything well and played on all the special teams units. And I think Cameron's got that same kind of DNA, but might even have a little bit better, ability in the open field as a route runner, as a pass catcher. He's got some juice and he does some good things. And when he was given a chance to be the feature guy the last 4 games last year, he really flashed and did some special things. So we're excited about him. And then when you bring Jaden in the mix, Jaden is an elite, big time, dynamic playmaker. He's a take the top off the defense guy. He's a home run guy, and he's tough. He's like we talked about, having the background that he has, playing on both sides of the ball, and just being a football player. He's going to get in the mix, but he's not going to just be able to stand outside and pick on corners anymore. He's going to have to get his hand in the dirt and put his face on people, and that physical element of college football is, it's a man's game. And so, that part of what I like about him is his toughness and his competitiveness, but he's going to be asked to do it a whole lot more than he was asked to do it in high school, where he was flexed out and he just created matchup nightmares for teams. And we're going to do that with him, don't get me wrong, but he also needs to show that he can be a complete tight end. And that's one of the things that we talked about in the recruiting process is showing up some things like, hey, we love you for these reasons, but here's where, if you want to be special, you want to be elite, here's the areas that we're going to spend a lot of time on.
With a little bit of a varied offensive communication now with Royal coming in, how are kind of the tight ends fitting into that and adapting?
It's been great. I mean, we're fired up, from me personally, and his attention to detail level of organization and the scheme itself, like what we do, how we do it, the commitment to the run game and the play action game off of that, and how everything really sets up off itself. We're excited about it, and I think that's the biggest thing. And I know that was a big point for Coach Dillingham coming into this offseason, was really ramping up the attention to detail from the top down, and I think that's helped. It's helped me personally as a position coach, being under Coach Arroyo and his organization, and really knowing who he is and what he wants to be offensively, and having a system that he's run for a long time. It's been fun to be a part of that, and I think that's been passed down to the players, because we go into the tight end room, we know what's expected of us, and we know the details of that, and when you feel comfortable in your alignment and your assignment and the details, then you can just go out and play football and play fast. And I think that's what we've done so far pre-spring, and hopefully that's what we show in spring ball.
Coach Dillingham talked about kind of the challenge of navigating a new monster backer with a lot of the Big 12 defenses. How is that going to affect the tight ends and trying to account for that?
Well, I think when you play teams that run the 3 safety, 3-3 stack stuff, and they're trying to have that monster or Tillman or whatever you want to call that guy, I think that tight end is that much more valuable when you can create that extra gap in the run game, and you have the element of physical downhill, power football. That neutralizes that a little bit. I mean, those teams are really built to defend spread passing teams that aren't committed to running the ball, with a power element. So I think, the tight end is that much more important when you're going to see those teams week in and week out in this conference.